Vegas came out with a betting line on Masvidal versus Colby Covington. And I will tell you, it seems as though that is always the step to meaning a fight is going to happen. Like, Vegas doesn't ever have any inside knowledge. It's not like Dana's office is calling the bookie. But if you do go back and trace the sport historically, once Vegas finally takes odds on somebody, usually that fight happens. As a matter of fact, as I'm talking to you off the top of my head, I cannot think of a time that they have ever taken odds and said fight didn't happen, or at least was booked to happen. Maybe it got interfered with illness or injury, something like this, but where the organization made the match. That one seems so glaringly obvious to me that it's frustrating. It's frustrating that for some reason this match isn't announced. It's frustrating that 2020 goes by and Colby hasn't been booked in something. It's frustrating me. I believe Masvidal's only fight, it was the one against Usman, was back in March. Even if I'm wrong and that was May or June, I mean, it was such a significant period of time ago. Masvidal is the biggest star in MMA, period, right now. How much damn money do these guys have? Just by example, I would be up Dana's ass every single day if I did not have a match booked for 5 months. Masvidal for a year. Colby, particularly when there's a huge match out there with a guy who's in the same spot as I, which is he doesn't have a match booked. So I've always wondered, what happened here? What is the holdup? What are we waiting on to get this match? And I don't know, maybe those guys are a pain in the ass that I don't know about it behind the scenes. I don't know. I cannot imagine that Masvidal returns against anyone other than Colby. I cannot imagine that Colby comes back opposite anybody that isn't named Masvidal, particularly when the only other thing that Masvidal is interested in doing is Kamaru Usman, who is going to be fighting Gilbert Burns. I mean, it just seems as though if you're not going to get your way, here's a way. And we all want, is there any fight that you can think of, guys, that we want to see more than that we aren't going to see? I mean, in terms of a press conference, at a minimum, has been held that promises this fight's going to happen. At a minimum. Particularly with all of the distance and time put in between. What's keeping these guys? What is it? Is it money that they both have just made so damn much? They're both competitors. They have nobody else to compete. I mean, the more I talk about this, I realize I just keep saying the same thing over and over in it with different words. But is there any more complex that we have to have? The athletes want to face each other there within the same weight class. Neither is hurt or injured. The fans want to see it. The media wants to see it. The promoter wants to put it on. What seems to be stopping us here? Vegas has now come out and taking odds on it, which, by the way, is almost dead even. If you want to split hairs, Colby is the favorite. He's a minus 140. That's dead. You're a one anything. You're even money. Broad stroke term, you're even money. People are believing in Masvidal. People have not given up faith on Colby. As I digest this thing and continue to repeat the same words back to you, I'm just not seeing any box that we've yet to check except for a contract being sent over. Are we looking for a date? Are we looking for a venue? What appears to be up in the air? There was discussion at one point of having Colby and Masvidal fight, acknowledging they were going to be a co-main event. I cannot recall who was top of the bill. It was a world title fight. Acknowledging that they were going to be a co-main event, but making this the first ever co-main event that was going to be 5 rounds. So, I mean, this has been thought out. This has been overthought. If they're a co-main event, they should not fight 5 rounds. I'll be the first one to say it. You want to fight 5 rounds, you got to put up the strap. Good news there is Masvidal brings one with him. To just make a co-main event and declare that this is such a huge match, it doesn't belong in co-main event status, then don't put it as the co-main. If you are going to put it as the co-main, don't mess with the rules. Right? But the mere fact that this was discussed and thought of means I'm not the first to the party. There's other people that have already started the music. I'm just wondering when we're going to start dancing.